BBMP War Room releases Bengaluru COVID-19 data. 20 COVID-19 containment zones identified in Bengaluru. Bengaluru had 21 containment zones earlier. Domlur is no longer a containment zone in the city. These are the details released by the BBMP War Room. The containment zones, which was earlier 21, has now been reduced to 20, with Domlur skipping from the list. 20 COVID-19 containment zones have now been identified in the city, and Domlur will no longer be part of the containment zones list, which was earlier released by the BBMP War Room, where it said that 21 containment zones, including Domlur, was identified in the city, and now Domlur has been discarded from the list. Now, these yellow markings that you see on your screens are the containment zones identified by the BBMP, and so far 20 containment zones have been identified in Bengaluru. For more details on this, I am being joined in by my colleague Amruta, live from the newsroom. So Amruta, now the BBMP has released data of 20 containment zones in the city, which was earlier 21, and now Domlur has skipped the list. So what more details do you have on this?
Well, it is definitely a positive sign that the number of COVID-19 containment zones in Bengaluru city is coming down. Just yesterday, it was 21 containment zones in Bengaluru city. Now it has come down to 20, with Domlur being taken off the list after no new case was reported there for a month's time. That is how the marking of containment zones is being done as per the centre's guidelines. But that being said, this particular data is quite dynamic, as the BBMP says it itself. While it is of some kind of relief that the number of containment zones in Bengaluru city is going down, it doesn't necessarily mean that the same trend will continue here on. If the BBMP does find the primary or secondary contacts of any other patient testing positive from the areas, once again that would be put under a hotspot, and some areas inside those hotspots might be declared as containment zones. That being said, the number of hotspots in Bengaluru city remains the same as yesterday. It's still 34 hotspots in Bengaluru city, and so far none have been taken down from the hotspots list. So that clearly signifies that the ward and the particular Domlur ward and the area which it belongs to is not exactly completely safe from the COVID-19 cases, and in the future as well the BBMP can go ahead and spot any new COVID-19 cases as well. So to give you an overlook of what the containment zones list says, the Bengaluru South region has the most number of containment zones, with 7 containment zones in the area, which include Sudam Nagar, Karesandra, Bapuji Nagar, Hosahalli, JP Nagar, Chakamri Nagar and Gurappanapalyam. It is followed by Bengaluru East, which has again 5 containment zones. The number of hotspots and the maximum number of hotspots in Bengaluru also comes from Bengaluru South and Bengaluru East, with both of these zones having 9 hotspots in their area. So there is only one way that the containment zones and the hotspot and the number of these can come down, is by people accepting social responsibility and not venturing out unnecessarily, especially these particular residents from the containment zones and hotspots should make sure that they do not move around in the city and go to other places, because there might be a risk of a spread of COVID-19. Deepak.
Right, Amruta, thank you for joining us with all those details. Now, this is indeed a positive news for Bengaluru, as many people across the city have adhered to the lockdown orders, and mainly the people of Domlur have respected the lockdown orders and stayed indoors, and hence Domlur has now been taken off the containment zones list. Now, however, 34 hotspots continue to exist in the city, and people across these 34 hotspots will have to follow the orders, and only then the number would reduce.